Have you ever played a game enjoying its various highs and lows but dreading the inevitable conclusion? Has said conclusion come out of nowhere, leading to the desire for more? Let's take a look at 15 games that encapsulated that feeling. Spoilers incoming, so be warned. Before we go ahead, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos every single day and your support really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's start. Vanquish. Rocket sliding into cover and vaulting over in slow-mo to gun down foes never looked or felt as good as it did in Vanquish. But even at roughly 6 hours from the main campaign, it just simply ended following the battle with Bogey Alpha and Bravo. No final battle with Viktor Zaitsev, who subsequently escapes and destroys Providence. Even US President Elizabeth Winters, who sought to destroy Moscow with Providence's microwave transmitter, simply kills herself. At least Sam and Elena survive, so that's nice. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Everything in Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus seems to be going the way of the Krauss-I Circle. After numerous setbacks and a trip to Venus, because why not, Odin's defense system is disabled and the Resistance captures the Ausmesser. Irene Engel is finally killed after all the atrocities she's committed, and America can finally rise up against the Nazis. This is where things sadly come to an immediate halt, with the liberation being reduced to little more than images in the credits. The story in Wolfenstein Youngblood jumps ahead several years, but the less said about it, the better. Halo 2. All of the marketing for Halo 2 revealed Master Chief headed to Earth to defend it against the Covenant. However, this battle is resolved quickly and the UNSC ventures to a newly discovered Halo. Meanwhile, a Covenant elite becomes the Arbiter and is quickly betrayed along with the other elites by the Brutes. Long story short, it all leads to Chief going to Earth again to finish the fight before the game promptly ends. Halo 2 is pretty fun overall, but its story and conclusion left much to be desired. Gears of War 4. Considering that Gears of War 4 takes place a good 25 years after the Locusts' defeat, it does a pretty good job of setting up the new status quo and cast. However, by the time you learn the location of Kate's mother, the plot is already hurtling towards a conclusion. Jump into some mech suits, rescue Reyna, which subsequently ends in her death, and go home with the tease of Queen Mira being Kate's granddaughter. Again, great setup for the sequel, which also ended on a cliffhanger, but not much more. Borderlands. The majority of Borderlands' runtime involved hunting down fragments of the vault key and unlocking said vault before the Crimson Lance could. As it turns out, the vault doesn't hold incredible riches, but a nasty creature called the Destroyer. Once it's defeated, the vault is sealed again and the Guardian Angel seemingly checks out. Cut to a Hyperion satellite and a claptrap bot turning to an interplanetary ninja assassin, which was addressed in DLC, none of this making a lick of sense at the time. It just felt like a sour end to what was supposed to be a fun treasure hunt, and there wasn't even any decent loot to be had from the final boss, at least in the original release. Dishonored. As Corvo navigates Dunwall, first saving Emily Caldwin and eventually taking down the Lord Regent, it quickly becomes apparent that the Loyalist leader Havelock isn't as he seems. This leads to a confrontation at the Lord Regent's lighthouse, where Corvo has to save Emily again. And that's pretty much it. Havelock falls to his death and Emily is rescued. Depending on the chaos and whether Emily survives, the ending can change, but it's a little more than a montage explaining away events. Rage 2. One could argue that Rage 2 is good at best, particularly when it comes to the combat, but its story still ends all too abruptly, which is ironic considering its predecessor did the same. The story sees Walker, Vineland's last ranger, embarking on a mission to complete Project Dagger and stop the authority led by General Cross. He does this by meeting key 3 figures, collecting 3 components, and, well, killing Cross. That's it. No big twist or major revelation, no new threat aside from the DLC, nothing. Half-Life 2 Episode 2. No one was really expecting Half-Life 2 Episode 2 to be the length of the base game, and that's fine. Everything flowed together so masterfully, from fighting to save Alex, to launching a rocket to destroy the Combine portal, that it didn't matter. However, the ending came all too abruptly, as Alex's father Eli is killed by an advisor. While Half-Life Alex retconned this ending, it still had Alex being taken away by the G-Man and Gordon preparing to rescue her. Who knows when the story will continue. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. The world of Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is full of incredible details, lore, and memorable side quests. Those who stuck to the main story, however, could finish it in about 15 hours or so. A more decisive conclusion would have been great, but by the end you never deal with the Illuminati, who convene in a post-credit scene to reveal that Adam is being watched, or really find out who Janice is. Considering the ending of Human Revolution, Mankind Divided felt a lot less significant and impactful. Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 is yet another title that offers a substantial campaign, one that encourages side missions and exploration, but whose ending just felt rushed. After dealing with the Reapers, Harbinger, and the Elusive Man, Shepard reaches a crucible and meets the Catalyst. It provides 3 choices, you get a lackluster ending in each case, and then it's all over. Yes, the extended cut expanded on these more, but for such a long journey, the finale was over before it really got rolling. Metroid Fusion. For how great the Metroid Prime series is, Metroid Fusion deserves as much, if not more, appreciation. The story sees Samus encountering a parasite called X and having to undergo surgery to have it removed. The infected pieces of her armor are sent to BSL Station, and things take a turn for the worse when the parasite overruns the station and manifests as a powerful clone of Samus, dubbed the SA-X. As Samus regains her powers, she eventually has a showdown with the SA-X, defeats an Omega Metroid, and destroys the station, stopping the X outbreak. And while the ending was very much in line with previous games, succinctly capping off an excellent journey, it still made us yearn for more. Brutal Legend. Unfolding as a sprawling epic of love, betrayal, and war set against the backdrop of heavy metal, Brutal Legend has a lot going on. Following the battle with Diviculus, protagonist Eddie learns his true origins and reunites with his love Ophelia. Then he kind of sets off to do some errands while Ophelia sheds a tear. The war with the demons is still ongoing, but where did Eddie go? Why did the final battle feel so rushed? We may never know, and it's a shame since the game's excellent story and characters deserved more. Kentucky Route Zero. When Kentucky Route Zero's final act landed, it was 4 years after Act 4 and more than 7 years after Act 1. The journey was full of surreal incidents, introspection, philosophy, and magical realism. But Act 5 felt relatively short, staying in a single town that had survived the flood and was picking up the pieces. You learned more about the place, buried some beloved horses, sang a song with the townsfolk, and finally made the deliver to 5 Dogwood Drive. It was bittersweet seeing it all come to a close in such a fashion, or perhaps it was anticlimactic to have an ending that felt more like a new start, which is something its characters definitely earned. Either way, it ended too soon. The Wolf Among Us. Based on Vertigo's acclaimed Fables comics, Telltale Games' narrative mystery sees Bigby Wolf investigating the murder of a woman named Faith. The actual story is being narrated to Nerissa when the game begins, and we learn more about how she got involved with the Crooked Man, the antagonist. At the end, however, Nerissa utters the same words that Faith told Bigby at the start, which causes him to doubt her identity and whether Faith is actually dead. The game ends with a choice to either let Nerissa go or pursue her. This kind of open ending isn't completely out of left field for noir thrillers and felt like a setup for something later, especially since Telltale quickly released multiple seasons for its games. Whether the long-awaited sequel carries on from here remains to be seen. Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. Enslaved: Odyssey to the West moves at breakneck pace. It starts out introducing a post-apocalyptic Earth that's overrun by mechs, where most humans have gone extinct. As protagonists Trip and Monkey, players escape slavery and try to locate Trip's father before commandeering and exploding a giant mech ship and infiltrating the mysterious pyramid behind it all. This is where the game ends, by the way. There's no boss fight with the pyramid. It's disposed of pretty quickly by Trip, and the ending is just one big, well, what now? A sequel to expand on everything would have been neat, but given how poorly the first game performed, it's not happening. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and we would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.